one of them had just said, "Hey, this is bothering me or this is going on," I think that maybe the story would have ended up a little bit different.
Aidan, this is great, man. I'm sorry about your chaotic day, but I appreciate you taking some time to chat with me. I really do.
No, of course, of course. Thank you for having me. Your Canadian accent, I love it.
I love that you hear a Canadian accent because I just don't hear it. I don't know. People always say I say a boot. I don't. I don't. I don't.
Could have sworn that's what I heard.
I always say you're talking about. I do say I say a bow, like a bow, but
Right, right.
that's not like your foot. Like anyway. Thank you for that. Uh, I'm speaking today with Aidan Langford, one of the stars of Roommates, which is now streaming on Netflix. And Aidan, man, this film is great. It really is funny, and it's not just like your ruckus, Animal House type of thing. It's not that type of comedy. There's real heart to it. What excited you to hop on board?
Yeah, I mean, so I got the script for this project back in the spring of last year. And sort of the first thing that jumped out for me was Alex's character and sort of his storyline, um, and his coming out story. That was something that I never saw when I was growing up. I didn't have those sort of characters until much later in my life, I feel like, where I could really like relate and resonate with them. So I was really excited about his character and being able to sort of be that character for other people. And then the other thing was the film really reminded me of a lot of those like early 2000s films that I love so much and those comedies that I sort of grew up watching. Those are sort of the two things that jumped out to me the most about it.
It really is fun. And Alex's journey, like you said, it is I love how it's presented. It's really his journey. It's not about the I think, if this film were made in the early 90s, it would have been this big thing, but it's really a time for Alex to figure out who he is. And I think that that's the power of it. Everybody else is just like, "Oh, great. Okay. Sounds good."
Yeah.
And I was wondering, in your mind, this film is set in college, and I know Alex is on his way, but is college really that place in your mind that where people learn who they are, and what does that?
I think so. As someone who is in college right now and is sort of going through that experience as well, I think that you learn a lot and you grow a lot in college. It's sort of your first time away from your parents and you're not being like looked over and watched over by your family. You have a lot more freedom. You're sort of figuring out who you are and what people you want to hang out with. And then at the same time, you're also like learning all of these things in college, right? And your mind is sort of expanding and you're gaining these new like critical thinking skills. So I do think that there's a lot of growth that happens within a very short time, within those just 4 years. Um, and I think we see that with Devon and Celeste in many ways. They definitely grow a lot over the course of a year. And then Alex is sort of dragged along on that ride with them as he sort of tags along with his sister.
Mm. Yeah, Alex is sort of the person in the middle, uh,
Yeah.
because he does have. I mean, Celeste absolutely loves Alex. There's this, but the relationships are obviously very, very different. And actually, this made me wonder. I wonder for Alex and for you, given the opportunity, who do you think you would be a better roommate with, Celeste or Devon?
Oh, Devon, 100%. I mean, we grew up together. We were basically roommates for our entire lives for 18 years. So we were able to make it work that long versus, Celeste. I think she's a little bit too crazy and a little bit too pushy. I don't think that Alex and her would be able to make it work for that long.
I don't know how Devon does, but that's a whole other
Me
story.
neither, honestly. I think maybe Alex is there to help her get through it in many ways. And there are those moments where you're like, oh my gosh, how has Devon gone along this far and made it this far with this crazy roommate?
For sure. You know, one of the things I think so interesting about their relationship is that the film, without giving anything away, the film does play it sort of even-handedly. You know, this isn't entirely one person's fault. Devon has her own issues in this film as well. And one of those things that I see seated in both of them is jealousy. And I wondered in your mind, what is it about jealousy that can eat away or poison a relationship so toxically?
Wow, that's such like I feel like that's such a deep and like profound question. I think when two people are sort of jealous of each other and envious of what each of them is sort of doing in their own lives, I think it slowly builds up a resentment for every little thing that the other person is doing, right? Like there's this resentment because you want to do what they're doing or be how they are. And it's that resentment that's slowly sort of builds up until it explodes, right? Because you can't hold all of that in for very long.
Yeah, it really sort of eats away at the foundation.
Yeah.
And you know, which is and like I said, that's what I like about this film is that, you know, Devon has her own issues with that as well. It's not just all, oh, one person and the crazy roommate. There's a real tension that builds. Um,
Yeah, and I think like there's so many things that could have easily been solved had either one of them just been open to conversation, right? And even whether that was Devin or Celeste, if one of them had just said, "Hey, this is bothering me or this is going on," I think that maybe the story would have ended up a little bit different. But that's something that a lot of people struggle with, including myself. I mean, I had a roommate situation when I first moved out, and I think there's a fear of causing conflict or being that person. You don't want to be that person who's, being too much or asking too much of the other person. And so you don't ask questions, you don't sit down and have conversations with whoever it is you're living with, which is really important because you spend almost every second of your day with them. And so those things they build up rather quickly.
yeah, absolutely. I before I got married and moved in with my wife, I had those issues with my own roommates, and it's the you sort of unless you work it out, it will
Yeah, it
it'll
will
rip
it
things
will
away.
blow up in your
Absolutely, it'll
face.
blow up in your face for sure. I wondered for you, you know, Celeste when she moves in. I thought that was really interesting. Celeste when she first moves into the room, actually when Devon is there, Devon comes in to set up her stuff, as everybody does when you have a roommate. Celeste says, "These are my four posters. They tell you everything you want to know about me," which is a whole psychological experiment in and of itself. I was wondering, for you, what would your four posters be?
Oh, wait, that I actually really like that question. My four posters. Well, first of all, I will say when I got on set and saw that they had added a Lana Del Rey poster to Celeste's side of the dorm, was very excited about that and her Clueless poster. I was like, wait,
Yes.
I feel like these are posters that I, as Aiden, would have in my dorm room. She's like that. She kind of oozes that like cool girl. So I guess the posters I would have would be a Lana Del Rey poster, 100,000%. I would probably have a movie poster, whether it's one of my movies or it would probably be one of my favorite movies, which is Waves, which was an A24 film that I absolutely loved and thought was incredible. Um, Two other posters, it would probably be two other music posters, honestly. I'd probably have something from like Radiohead and I have a band that I really like right now. Their name is explicit, so I don't know if I can say it, but it's
You-
Mannequin Pussy. You can cut it out. But they're a rock band, and I really, really like them. I'm a big fan of them. So it'd probably be that. Yeah. Waves movie poster and three other music posters because I'm such a huge fan of music.
I love that. I and the waves cut. I think that that's a fantastic film. It's just an incredible story.
Yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned that one. It's just a powerful, powerful piece.
It's one of my favorites, and I absolutely adore Demi. I think she's amazing and incredible. Um, yeah, I love that movie.
Speaking of influences, this film's directed by Chandler Levac, fellow Canadian.
Yeah, she
Um,
is.
she is, and she's fantastic. Like we love her films up here, and I know everybody else does. But what does she bring to a set? What is it like working with Chandler Levac?
So I had first met Chandler when we did our chemistry read. It was Sadie and Chandler on the chemistry read, and I felt immediately that she has the vision and an idea in her head, and she really knows how to get what she wants, and she knows how to direct actors, which is super helpful. I feel like there are some directors, and you feel like there's a disconnect between them and you, and you're not sure what they're asking of you. And I feel like Chandler really knows how to articulate herself and give good notes and good direction on set, which is really, really helpful. And she's also just like a very light and bubbly person, all around on set. Like she had a very light energy all the time, and that was super helpful. It's always nice when the people you're working with on set are super like light and fun and funny and chill. Like that's always something that you want. You never want somebody who's like super mean or harsh or whatever it is. So those are sort of the two things that kind of stood out to me about Chandler.
Hmm. Yeah, I love that. I love that. She's a phenomenal filmmaker, and you can feel the heart that she brings to other projects in this film. I think is just
Yeah.
incredible. I know, Aiden, we talked a little bit before about Alex's journey. I was wondering, in your mind, as bringing him to life, what makes his story different than other LGBTQ storylines that we've seen in recent years?
Yeah, I think there are similarities to other storylines, but I think one of the things that me and Jimmy had kind of talked a lot about, and Jimmy is one of our writers on this project, and it's that scene where he's coming out to Sadie, and they're sitting in the like rec hall basically of the college eating Taco Bell, and we had talked about how in media now it seems like a lot of these coming out scenes are super like high octane and very emotional, and sometimes a little bit over the top, and we kind of wanted to be something a little bit more casual. I mean, Alex and Devon have such a great relationship, and they've always been very honest and open with each other, and so I think that Alex is scared, of course, to come out and has all these feelings, and he wonders if Devon, which is stupid, and we all think it when, for those of us who have come out, we think, are these people gonna accept me or still want to hang out with me or like me or whatever it is. But we really wanted that moment to be heartfelt and sweet, but also somewhat casual. And Alex has a very like deliberate way of just being like, hey, I think I should let you know. And like, this is how it is. So that was something that was very different about that scene that I think is different from a lot of other coming out scenes in media now. Which was also something that I was kind of excited about because I feel like I didn't have the most like crazy coming out story myself as Aiden. It wasn't some like crazy tearjerker, like crying all the time. Um, so it was good to see that sort of reflected in this film.
It feels very honest. I'm not gonna lie. It feels
Yeah,
like a very honest moment, which is, I love Happy Madison films. They're very, very funny, but this it feels so genuine in that space and for that character for this film. Honestly, I know we're running out of time, Aiden, but I just thought just before we go, what do you hope people take away from Roommates?
I think the biggest thing that I hope people take away is to communicate. with other people in their life and talk to other people about what they're going through or any of their issues that are going on or problems. I think communication is so important, and it can really make or break a lot of relationships. And also, people realize that everybody kind of has their own thing going on in their life, and we don't always know what that is, right? Some people aren't very open about the things that they're going through with everyone, and to just give people space to kind of work on those things and figure themselves out.
I love that, and honestly, I love this film. It is so funny and so charming and just phenomenal. Thank you so much, Aiden. I really appreciate the time.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate you for having me and chatting with me about it.
Absolutely. Have a great day, man.
You as well. Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you too.